Hello, happy Giving Tuesday. We are celebrating Music for All's Day of Gratitude today. This is a pre-recorded interview. We're recording before Thanksgiving, but with the intention of sharing it with everyone on Giving Tuesday in our gratitude celebration. So with that in mind, we are so grateful to have Eric Cervantes with us today to have a little conversation. And I've been so excited. And if there's people watching this who don't know who I am, I'm Erin Fortune. I'm a director of sponsorships at Music for All. With us is my colleague Laura Blake, who's our director of events, and Eric Cervantes, our special guest today on Giving Tuesday. But I've been so excited. I've been telling all of my colleagues for the last 2 weeks that I have this perfect interview that I want to have for this day, because I've been with Music for All for 11 years now. Laura has been with Music for All a little longer, 14 or 15. But I remember, Eric, my first year, Eric was one of the drum majors of Arsenal Tech High School that fall, where I first met him. And it blew my mind at first when I met people like Cam Steza, and she would rattle off these stories or facts about students that she had met like 20 years ago. And I was like, who does that? Like, this is a superhuman. How would she ever remember? And now 10, 11 years later, I have those experiences where you connect with a student after they graduate from high school, and you watch them go through life and do these incredible things out in the world. And then 10 years later, someone's like, oh, we should show, a student story. And I was like, yes, kind of crazy to me that like now I have those memories from when I first started at Music for All. But that's why, I'm so excited for this interview, and it's so special that Eric said yes to join us, because you are probably one of the first faces that have really made an impact on me, of why I continue to do what I do, because you grew up to be these wonderful superhumans doing wonderful things in the world. So excited that Eric's going to share a story with us. So to get started on that, Eric, can you tell me a little bit about your experience as a band student in IPS School District?
Sure, of course. Well, Erin, first of all, thank you so much for those kind words. I also remember some of those earlier experiences of just like being at band competitions and being at summer symposiums, which we'll talk about here soon, and seeing the Music for All staff rally around the kids at each of those events. Staff like Erin, you, Laura, and also staff that have now gone, like Travis, who were super instrumental in making Music for All and Bands of America and Summer Symposium feel like comfortable and welcoming to everyone, and even just like staff like Eric Martin, who like, for somebody to know so many staff members at our organization, that means that you all had hands in making those experiences welcoming and to everyone. So really appreciate you and the staff. So again, my name is Eric. I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to Arsenal Tech High School, graduated in 2012, and then I went on to Indiana University, and I graduated in 2016. At Arsenal Tech, I was very involved with the music programs at Tech. I was in the choir. I did some violin playing. I played the oboe for the concert band, and then I was also the drum major for the marching band. Very important pieces of my life and important pieces of my high school career. And they really shaped me, really shaped the person I am today. Through my lessons and through my practicing and coming together and bringing music together as a band, learning teamwork and learning that, if I don't practice my oboe this weekend, I will not be ready for Monday, Tuesday rehearsals, right? I will not be ready for the performance. And especially with oboe, there's only one, there's only one, maybe two, so I better show up. So that showed me a lot. But really that marching band experience and being able to be part of Bands of America, competitions in the fall. Um, there's something about the air on those weekends, right? There's something about the competition and the bands coming together, and just leaving it out on the field, and showing the people that care about you what you've been working on. So some of those nights, long nights, 1 a.m. nights, are some of the unforgettable moments of my high school career.
That's awesome. When did you start in music in IPS, and what made you decide to join?
Yeah, so I started music in IPS. It was sixth grade. So I went to Harshman Middle School. Everyone's learning a lot about me right now. I went to Harshman Middle School and I started playing violin in sixth grade. I knew I wanted to do some music activities because my brother, who was already at Tech at this point, he was in the marching band at Tech. So I was like, okay, this is, I'll play violin. I won't do band, because like Pierre is already doing band. And so I'll do violin. So I played violin. I played in the orchestra, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I was, kind of good at it. Like I had some, I could pick it up and I was like learning pretty quickly. So it was really fun and really exciting. And of course, our teachers made it fun and exciting. And then moving on to then high school, I joined the orchestra. I was in orchestra classes then. And then I knew my brother had done choir. So I went over to the Miss Brown and said, hey, Miss Brown, I am Pierre's little brother. And I think it'd be cool if I could join the choir. We had an audition, and then she welcomed me in. And then, so yeah, it was already starting to get more involved. And then here comes a new band director, Mr. Doherty. And we've been hearing a lot of buzz of the band growing, things like that. So it was the second semester of my freshman year, I believe, where I go up to Mr. Doherty and I go, hey, Mr. Doherty, do you have an oboe player? And he goes, well, now I do. And I had known about the oboe because Pierre played the oboe during concert band season. And so I kind of just like grew up listening to him play it and practice it at home. And so I picked up the oboe, and that's kind of like where my band experience started. Second semester of freshman year, picked it up, practiced a lot. And then so that is kind of what started shaping my high school career, being supported by Miss Brown in the choir, Miss Myers in the orchestra, Mr. Doherty in the band, with my concert band, oboe, and then marching band, marching tenor saxophone. And then other staff like Ms. D and Ms. H that, just bring that whole music family together at Arsenal Tech.
Transition from violin to oboe, that was a pretty steep jump there at first, I bet.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if I thought about it that way. I was just like, I'll just pick up this thing, or I'll just pick up this thing. And I think it also helped that my friend who played viola with me at Harshman also moved in and started playing French horn. So I was like, I guess I'll pick up this random instrument. It was fun.
Eric, from your perspective, how might your experience in the IPS band programs have been different from people in band programs that are outside of IPS in the Indianapolis area?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, especially once like I graduated from high school and started meeting people from all over the state and all over the country at IU. One of the biggest things is that you can't be part of a choir, orchestra, and band at other schools. So that was a really unique part of Tech, where like if you wanted to do it, you could do it, and you can go as far as you can with it. But also, which has its own limitations. I picked up oboe when I was in ninth grade, and a lot of people might have picked that up a little bit earlier. But I practiced, and then I was supported by Mr. Doherty, my band director, And, he was able to provide people and resources so that I could have private lessons, right? And he was able to introduce people that, hey, like if you want to get really good at something, you might need some mentorship. You might need somebody to help you guide you through that process. Whereas at first it was kind of just like, hey, pick it up, practice it in class, and then we'll keep going from there. And he really introduced that private lesson piece, which kind of I think really helped me kind of move some steps up with my oboe playing. And so, private lessons, not everyone did private lessons at Tech, and I was really fortunate enough to receive those. And I know I had like 2 private lesson teachers, and they were really influential in my playing. And so I know that there are some pieces that I was really fortunate to have, but I know not all IPS students have private lesson teachers, and not all IPS students start oboe at freshman year. So other schools might start them a little bit younger, and really harness that talent all the way through.
One of the ways that I'm not sure that everyone who knows Music for All and Bands of America realizes that Music for All leverages our national resources. So the Summer Symposium, Bands of America, the Music for All National Festival, to be able to engage locally here in Indianapolis, and specifically with the Indianapolis Public Schools. And one of those ways that we do that, and have done this for at least the entire time I've been at Music for All, so 11 years, but I think going back even further, is through a scholarship program for the Indianapolis Public Schools for them to attend the Summer Symposium. Yeah. And I think, Eric, that you might have been one of the recipients many years ago to the Summer Symposium. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, I think I was a recipient, I'm going to say either 2 or 3 years in a row. The first one was right before Music for All moved the symposium to Ball State. It was at Illinois State.
Yeah, Illinois State in Bloomington.
Illinois State. Yeah. And I didn't do the marching band. I didn't do the drum major track. I did the concert band track. So I did oboe. And there's so many positive things I can say. The volunteers that Music for All provides at these events, the programming, the concerts every night, either if it was at Illinois State or if it was at Ball State, the concerts were amazing. And there were like things that we were so excited about. But then the teaching, it's so deep and it's so rich. I remember working with the oboe professor at Illinois State and just feeling like I was learning so much, even in like those hour-long private lessons with the oboe instructor. And then bringing it all together, and then also meeting people that I kept in contact with through social media after the Summer Symposium. And then when it moved to Ball State, of course, it was closer to home, but that didn't do away with the quality and the top-notch services that were available for the students in the concert band. I remember just working with the oboe professor at Ball State, and learning so much, and then putting a quintet together aside from the concert band, and just geeking out, really. There's no better way to put it. And as band students, we all understand geeking out about band music and about Eric Whitaker and composers and different pieces and different harmonies, and so it was so exciting, and you go home feeling motivated, excited, almost on this camp high of like, okay, I know I'm on the right track. I'm going to use all the things that I learned at Summer Symposium to, make me a better player, make me more ambitious towards my goals and towards my practicing, and really just sets the tone for the year, for the upcoming school year. So, I was able to do Summer Symposium with scholarship money provided by Music for All, and some of those weeks were some of the best music playing weeks that I had all through high school. They were rich. Programming was rich. The concerts are amazing. College dorms were fun, right? The volunteers, again, are they swags, right? Is that still what they're called? There are some great, they're like school teachers, professors, people who just love band. And so it was like a diverse group of people who were there to celebrate music and to support high schoolers in their journey.
Do you think you had an advantage going back into your school year because of those experiences compared to maybe kids who didn't have those experiences?
Yes, 100%, 100%. And you could tell the kids who went to summer symposium, you can tell who those people were because they went home with a better work ethic. They went home practicing. They went home knowing what they could, what their potential was. So we had a lot of kids in the concert band. We had a lot of students in the marching band track, some students in the drumline track and things like this. And those were the motivated students that came home with that really need for a better band, a better experience, and to try to get everyone up to that level.
That's awesome. So after you graduated high school from Arsenal Tech, you have told us that you went on to Indiana University. What did you study at IU?
Yeah, so I studied international studies with a concentration in diplomacy, governance, and then also Spanish track. So I really enjoyed that because I was able to learn about kind of just the ways that different countries and nations interact with each other. That diplomacy aspect of that degree just really caught my attention, and I enjoyed that.
Did you do anything at Bloomington with music while you were there?
I did, let me think here. No, I actually didn't. So there were some times where I was trying to get into the concert band, but I myself didn't have my own oboe. So I couldn't proceed with a concert band, like just kind of like the public concert band at IU.
And now you're graduated from IU, which I don't know how that happened because I knew you when you were in a high school student. So we'll just forget that you have somehow graduated high school and graduated college, but you're back in Indianapolis. So what are you doing these days?
Yeah, so I work for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana, and I really came to love working for nonprofits and working at a mission-focused organization with my experiences in college. So in college, I was part of a organization called Camp Kesem. It's camp for kids whose parents have cancer, and I was the special events coordinator my sophomore year, and then my junior year, I was the volunteer coordinator. And through that, meeting people and bringing people in, I just like fell in love with like bringing people into the mission that I love. And for Camp Kesem, I was, introducing people to this organization that brought a week-long summer experience for to kids whose parents have cancer, and it had a lot of energy and a lot of it was spunky and it was exciting, and so it was really easy to bring people in. And so so when I was graduating college, I told myself I want to do this as when I grow up, when I graduate. And so it feels very surreal that I am literally doing that. I'm literally living my kind of end of college career dreams of being a volunteer recruiter for an organization like Big Brothers Big Sisters. So at Big Brothers Big Sisters, I recruit volunteers. I recruit people who want to be bigs. Big Brothers Big Sisters is a one-to-one mentoring organization where we match adults to youth in their communities to spend one-on-one time together, 4 to 6 hours per month, and having that consistent time together. And then we see huge outcomes in our kids. They do better in school, they have higher self-esteem, and they avoid risky behaviors at higher rates. And so I just love that mission of joining two people who probably would have never met ever before, into this like sometimes lifelong lasting mentorship relationship. And I think I really get that passion of mentorship from my high school mentors, right? I was also in this a mentorship program through high school where I was matched with my mentor, Arif, who kind of helped me get to college and make sure that I had all the resources and the structure and everything in place for me to get to IU. But just also those like maybe organic mentorship that happens through high school. Like I think of Mr. Doherty and Miss Brown, who might have not said I'm Eric's mentor, but they supported me and they were there for me and they listened to me when I had questions and I needed help, and they cared about me, and they really just like invested in me in my music career, but then also as a person and as a student. So um, I a lot of my success in my music, like high school life, but then also post high school and college, and then as an adult, that stems from those relationships. I was cared for. I was loved by people who like they're teachers, right? And I think everybody has that story of that teacher who went above and beyond for them. And for me, it was Mr. Doherty and Miss Brown who cared about me and wanted to invest in me. And so I'm very passionate about mentors. I'm very passionate about that mentoring relationship, whether it is organic or whether you're going through a program like Big Brothers Big Sisters. That consistent time together and that commitment to somebody else can change lives for the better.
Eric, I love that so much, and that you are, here in Indianapolis and making an impact on so many more, students out there who need that support. Because I mean, no matter where you're coming from, what your situation, you need support, right? I think that's one of the coolest things about even this conversation, because I know that all three of us have had probably very different high school experiences. For me, I graduated with a class of 150 in a rural high school in Michigan. And Laura, where did you graduate from?
I went to Lawrence Central, so bigger metropolitan school district here. I graduated with like I think a class of around 800 at the time. So pretty diverse population still.
But I would say that all three of us could probably point back to a music educator who was a mentor and influential in our life and helped us and shaped us into the people that we are today. And all three of us are serving missions that are now impacting other students. So it's kind of the perfect like circle of events for especially a day of gratitude like this, because I know that I am so grateful for my earbud fell out. This is the beauty of Zoom interviews. But I am so grateful for Miss O'Neill, who was the music educator. I said I went to a rural school. Miss O'Neill was with me from kindergarten to graduating high school. She was my music teacher. I was in choir, but so influential in my life. And I don't imagine that I would be here having this conversation with all of you had she not helped me, that find that music was my passion, which led me to where I am. And Laura, I know I've heard you talk about, your high school band directors as well.
Yeah, I feel really lucky. I think I would agree with you, Eric, that, my high school band directors and my middle school band directors, like they really pushed me and supported me in whatever I wanted to do. And now, looking back professionally, I think they really laid the groundwork for me to get where I am. And part of those opportunities that they provided me to do things with Bands of America and Music for All as a student, opened my eyes to the organization, which made me want to come back later and work here. And I think some of my most grateful moments, honestly, have been that now I've had those opportunities to actually work with them on a professional level and interact with them differently than I would have as a student, which I think was really unique. I wanted to circle back. You were talking about private lessons earlier, And I know for a fact that had I not been pushed to private lessons and had that opportunity, I never would have been as successful as I was going through high school and then on to college. And those people as well, looking at them as mentors and really driving my passion to play and be better as an individual. Just outside of, everyday band class, I think was really transformative for me as well.
So, Eric, I just have to say, it's probably like a weird comment because you're a professional now and doing everything out in the world, but I'm just so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so
you,
proud of all of
Erin.
the things that you have done and are doing, and it just, brings me so much joy to see, these what I would have called kids, but like you're not, you're this young professional doing amazing things, but like, yeah, I vividly remember you in your Arsenal Tech uniform on that field at Lucas Oil Stadium. And now you're doing these incredible things with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Central Indiana. So thank you. Thank you for being you and for sharing your experiences and now, giving back so that, that impact of all those things, everything Mr. Doherty taught you, you're sharing that, with so many more kids and making this like huge impact on the world. So thank you on this day of gratitude as so thank you for joining us. Any last words before we shut down our Zoom interview, Laura, Eric?
No, just thank you to you, Erin and Laura, for having me today. And thank you to all the Music for All staff now and in the past who have really transformed lives through programming and through the support of each band individually. I know that those programs, Summer Symposium, Festival, Music for All, Bands of America, that takes time and it takes energy and it doesn't go unnoticed. Those are some of the most meaningful events in my high school career and in my friends' high school careers. And those events are important. So thank you for your time, your sweat, tears, your late nights for making those possible. So hopefully everyone supports Music for All today on Giving Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Thanks, Laura. Bye, everyone.
Bye.